Hey, welcome back everyone. Today we're going to continue our cooking basics series with some whole fish. I just wanted to go over how we prep fish for cooking and maybe how to pick out the right fish from your grocery store. Maybe you just caught this actually and want to know how to fillet it, gut it, how to prep it. So we're going to head over to the table and I'm going to show you an up-close look at what we do here. Now the first thing I want to talk about when purchasing a fish from your local grocery store or any place that sells fish is picking out the perfect fish. You want to take a look at the eyes. Are the eyes nice and clear? Are they not too cloudy? And the gills, do they have a nice pink to red color? If they're looking dark, gray, or even has a real fishy smell, then it's probably not a good fish to pick out. A nice fresh fish won't have that real strong fishy smell. The first thing I like to do when cleaning my fish is I'll start by removing all the fins, including this top one, the bottom ones, and these side ones here. You'll see these ones and then these little guys right down here. Kind of a little hard to see, but they're right there. Now, a couple of tools I'm going to be using today to help me clean this fish are a fillet knife, your chef knife, and a pin bone puller. Now, if you don't have a fillet knife or a pin bone puller, I wouldn't worry too much. You can do almost everything with a chef knife here. Those other tools just kind of make it a little bit easier. So let's get started. First, we're going to go ahead and start working on all the fins. Now, I'll just take my knife and cut along, removing all these here. This isn't too bad. You can see with the scale still on, the blade does get caught up a little bit on the fish. I'm going to show you what we do with that in a little bit. So you have these little guys right here. Remember these? Sometimes what I'll do is I'll just cut right in and right back out. You can just, and done. Take this one out too. Slippery little guy. And in case I didn't say it, this is a Branzino. It's got a really nice, delicate texture, very, very flavorful. Great. Now, there's two ways we can go about the next process of descaling these. You can take the back of your knife and just start running along the skin. This is kind of a messy process doing that. They start to flick and fly everywhere. The second way you can do this is actually submerged underwater. And if you're gonna be skinning your fish, you don't have to do this. Now, once you've already taken all the fins off, the next thing you want to do is gut it. And that's going to involve us making a slit from the throat all the way down the entire belly. The easiest way to do this, like I said, is going from the throat. You're going to drive your knife straight in and just take your knife all the way through. All right, now we have the guts. Just go ahead and pull all these out. Now you can do this a couple different ways. You can go from the gills and pull, and sometimes everything comes out. Or you can do what I just did here and just reach in and grab everything. Okay, the next thing I like to do before filleting is actually removing the head. What I typically will do is there's a really hard bone right here, but what I'll do is I'll cut right around where the gills were, straight down. You can see this here, how I made this cut. I just followed the cheek all the way around. Same thing you'll do on this side, is you'll follow that cheek all the way to the head. Now, I'll remove the head completely. Kind of on both sides. Save this for later for a nice stock. And now for the fillet. Typically what I like to do is I'll find right where that backbone's at and just go right in. And this works much easier if you have a fillet knife, like I was saying earlier. But we can do it with our chef knife as well. So what you're doing is you're just following the bones all the way down. And you're gonna follow, try not to take too much meat with you. Again, it's very delicate. Same thing with the other side. You're going to look for that vertebrae. And then you're going to follow the bones all the way through. Be careful not to cut yourself, especially if you're using a sharp knife. Always cutting towards yourself is probably not a good idea. Do your best to cut away. Okay, so let me show you this here. I've gotten down just to the bone here. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep following it down to the belly. Follow those ribs. Cut open. So a little bit of meat on there. And now we have this section here of rib bones. You could take your knife and go right underneath it. And your knife, you can follow those bones quite easily. And what you're left with is a nice skin on fillet. I'll take this time just to clean it up a little bit. Now, it's not completely boneless. There are what we call pin bones, very hard to see, but if you run your finger across, you can feel them. See if I can pull one out to show you. Very tiny. Might not be able to pick that up too well. On larger fish, they're much more pronounced. You'll be able to find them pretty easily. Now for our next part, we're gonna actually skin the fish. This is where a nice fillet knife comes in handy because a fillet knife is able to flex a little bit more. You want something to get in between that fish meat and the skin. let's take a look. All right, make sure you get in here close. Again, look, that's a nice flexible knife. What I'll do is I'll typically get right underneath, almost laying my blade flat between the meat and the skin. Now, if you go towards the tail, you can get into the meat, but you don't want to completely dig into the meat where you leave a bunch of meat left on the skin. So let me show you what I'm talking about here. So I just took my knife in, right underneath, started a little bit, and I'm laying this bend so I can actually lay the knife flat right up against the meat and the skin. And if you pull, you're left with a nice skinless fillet. So the trick to really doing that is pulling both on the meat and the skin at the same time. Well, now you know how to gut, clean, skin, and fillet a fish. I hope that was a nice quick tutorial for you, something a little bit easy to follow. If not, leave some suggestions down in the comments. I think the next one we're gonna do is gonna be a large salmon. So keep an eye out for that video. All right, everyone, have a great morning, afternoon, evening, and thank you again.